You're listening to the Telltale Channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Apparently, this is Ali G. It's a fictional satirical character created by Sacha Baron Cohen. And he apparently debated Kent Hovind. I had no idea.
Men evolved out of lower species in the way that all the species evolved out of lower species.
This is ridiculous. This is ludicrous. If he wants to believe this happened, he's welcome to believe his grandpa was Lucy and came down from his tree or something. But that is pure religion. We offer $250,000 for anybody with any real empirical, testable, scientific evidence for evolution.
So you're saying
there's a ton of testable, scientific, empirical evidence for evolution, like an incredible amount, countless amounts of documents, countless examples of research papers that unequivocally, beyond question, prove for beyond a shadow of a doubt that evolution is factual. And every time somebody tried to claim that $250,000 prize, quote unquote, Hovind just rejects it because the judges that decide if the evidence is legitimate were picked by Hovind. And they're creationists, of course.
Ain't come down from monkeys.
No, monkeys are still having babies. Why don't they have another human today?
Okay, has you ever eaten a banana?
Oh, yeah, I eat all kinds of food, yeah. I eat a banana. That's proof we came from Iran. That's not proof of evolution.
The people engaged in this kind of...
That's funny. He's using the same nonsensical, dumb as dog argument style that Kent Hovind uses. Monkeys eat bananas. Kent Hovind eats bananas. That's proof Kent Hovind is a monkey. It's so stupid, but I love that. That's funny.
Nonsense. Always set up the rules that you could never win the money. Now,
but the banana thing got him, innit?
Yeah.
He had to start going, oh, no. He started saying, because you started going red when I said that.
Think
like
about
you thought, oh, shit.
That's good. I like that. That's good. Proof that we're monkeys, we eat bananas, monkeys eat bananas. That's funny. That's really giving Kent Hovind a taste of his own medicine, right? The same stupid, nonsensical garbage that he lays down.
And it's got him,
I
man
no
over
such
there.
thing. No. The fact
Then
that
why did you start all... He went red, didn't it?
No, because I'm surprised at how illogical your question was, or your thinking was.
Speak to the hand, because the face ain't listening, yo.
We're Homo sapiens,
Speak to the hand because the face ain't listening. That's old school shit.
and that's about 8 steps down.
I ain't. I just want to make clear, because this is going out on the TV or whatever, that I don't do that stuff. I ain't got nothing against it.
Oh, it's the homo that threw him off. I mean, explain that.
Yeah. It is a scientific nomenclature that describes who we are as part of a phyla or a...
Dude, I love that they're taking this seriously because they know that people really are this stupid. They know that people are this stupid, right?
stream of, it goes hominid, hominoid, and then we
whatever, there's different names for it.
We're all Homo sapiens.
All humans would be considered.
My wife is a Homo sapien.
But that's not homosexual.
We're all
that's what the difference is.
Yeah, well, it's just a way of describing who we are.
Well, that's it. I just want to make clear your respect for coming on, and I ain't going to treat you differently now that has come out. That's safe.
No, it has nothing to do with it. Come on now. You're confused here. Let's settle the confusion. All of people in the whole world, the biologists have in a group called Homo. And the particular human group below...
Dude, I love that this guy is out-stupiding Kent Hovind as a troll. And Hovind doesn't realize that it's a troll. And neither does the scientist, to be fair.
That is sapiens, and all that is Greek. It just means the Greek word for man smart.
Yeah, a lot of them is very talented.
It has nothing to do with homosexuals. It has nothing to do with the homo.
A lot of them are very talented, he says.
That you meet on the street. It's an entirely different lingo.
But
my point is...
So if you were one of the homo lot...
I am a Homo sapien. I think all humans are Homo sapiens. You are too. Okay? You are too.
The term homo and homo sapien has nothing at all to do with sex.
All right. Let's talk about when technology goes horribly wrong. Is there technology?
That's funny that he just doesn't get it. He just refuses to understand. That's pretty good. This is very much like a normal conversation with Kent Hovind. Like, this is the kind of frustration that people feel when they talk to or about Kent Hovind. It's just dumb as dog shit. Literally every fucking thing that he says is so stupid.
That you won't use.
I try to avoid foods that have pesticide residues on them.
No disrespect, whatever, but does you use a toilet or does you just drop one in a hole?
Of course I use the toilet like I assume everybody here does, or I hope.
You
Like I assume everybody does, he says.
use it, but would you flush?
Certainly, yeah, I absolutely.
So would you use a toilet or does you just drop it in a hole?
I've been to quite a few countries where they don't have toilets, and I'm very glad to get back to America.
So would you flush?
Oh, sure, and I think you should have a septic system that's properly designed to handle the waste.
You say that, but there's evidence backstage to the contrary. Was it you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I was talking about.
No, I have no clue.
Wow, dude, that is rough. That's a pretty sick troll right there.
The floater. Covering it with paper don't make it all right, you know? That goes for the rest of you, whoever it was. Right?
Are these people completely in the dark? They have no idea this is a troll?
Pointing any fingers, but I does have my suspicions.
Well, I don't. It was not me, if that's what you're saying. I would not, if I understand what you're even talking about, which I don't part of the time here.
You know what I was talking about, because if it was, then shame on you.
You're very confusing.
Yo, I ain't pointing fingers, yo.
This guy's confusing? Says Kent Hovind he is confusing?
But is you the one backstage that didn't flush?
No, sir.
You know what I was talking about, because
If that's what you're talking about.
You know,
why you would talk about that on a TV program blows my mind.
Just saying, out of respect, and we're all talking about respect and whatever. Whoever it was, and I ain't just, I don't care.
That's rough. That is like, I don't know. Sometimes it's really cringy to listen to these people, or let me rephrase. Sometimes it's really cringy to like watch what Sacha Baron Cohen does. Sometimes it's really funny. Sometimes it's not. And I feel like claiming that they didn't flush, that one is a little more on the cringy side than the funny side.
Well, then go on to something else.
Let's put it to the side. But that ain't right. Shame on you.
I didn't do it. Don't say shame on me. I didn't do anything.
Just want to thank you all for coming on here. This was very interesting. Keep it real. Yo, respect. Respect. Respect.
Respect. Hovind does it.
Respect. Respect.
Wow, that was interesting. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. By the by, follow me on Patreon even if you don't donate. It's a new feature on Patreon where you can follow people for free. And I release stuff all the time for like non-donators, just for like the free tier people. I do Q&As that include the free tier people and everything on there. So check it out. owenmorgan.com/Patreon. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Let's talk about Joel Webbon. I've talked about this guy a few times, but in case you're unfamiliar, listen to what he said recently.
Yep, you can't be a vigilante, but you literally can join ICE and be God's appointed avenger, right? Who seeks to carry out God's vengeance on the evildoer. Immigration is evil. So to join the proper mechanism through ICE and to become, in that sense, God's appointed deacon to carry out vengeance on the evildoer who is devouring the inheritance of the children, that is a righteous thing. You can join ICE today and make Jesus smile as you, with a gun, pack foreigners into the back of a van.
How fucking disgusting and vile and evil and wrong is that? You can be an avenger today. You can be God's avenger today by packing foreigners into a van because immigration is evil. Every time I hear somebody say this, I have to ask, why is immigration evil? What's bad about it? How is it negatively impacting your life in any way, shape, or form? The answer is it's not. It's not negatively affecting people's lives. Immigration is phenomenally good for society. There is no downside to immigration. None. If somebody is telling you there's a downside to immigration, it's purely and completely because of xenophobia and racism. There is no other reason. Seriously, I mean, really, like, think about this for a minute. What's the bad part? Adding people to your population grows your GDP. It makes the country more powerful. There is no downside, I'm telling you. So what is the downside in Joel Webbon's mind? Why is it quote unquote evil? The real answer is actually pretty revealing. Here's the answer right here.
Like, I walk around my neighborhood, and it's not that there are different shades of, white and brown. Who cares? No, it's like full, straight up Hindu garb at our neighborhood swimming pool that my daughter is asking. I'm trying to explain. She's like, what, and I don't even know what country I'm in my own neighborhood. I don't know where I am. It's, the number of, when we go on a family walk, the number of Pakistani, Hindu.
I have to wonder why he picked Pakistani. That's an ethnicity, not a religion. Also, Hindu garb. I assume he's talking about traditional cultural dress of Indians, right? Like Indian dress. I would be willing to bet that the Indian he's referring to wasn't wearing traditional religious dress. She's probably wearing Indian clothing, like, standard Indian dress that they wear in India, if I had to guess. And then he picks an ethnicity, Pakistani people. Like, what's his problem with that one specific region of the world?
All these different, not just ethnicities, but religions with...
Well, next time try listing religions then, if that's what you have a problem with, instead of ethnicities.
With visible religious outfits on. And, the same thing, like when we go to Costco, I'm like, where am I? And so, like...
You're at Costco? You got dementia or something?
It's rare. Like, we'll go on a family walk, and every now and then we'll pass by, a white family that's a man and a woman and has more than one kid. And every time I see it, I'm like, I don't want to be this way.
Then don't fucking be this way. So he recognizes that it's wrong to dislike people because of their ethnicity, but he just is that way. The point is, to go back to what, the previous video about being vigilantes for God or whatever, ICE is vigilantes for God, it's racism. That's why he supports ICE. It's racism, plain and simple. Disgusting. Listen to this one from Joel Webbon.
We're not actually critiquing gatekeeping as a whole. Right. If the right is ascendant and we win, you absolutely should gatekeep from the left.
Correct. Yeah.
But in this case,
there should not be transgender people on the White House lawn. So it's like, well, wouldn't you gatekeep?
Why shouldn't there be trans people on the White House lawn?
So it's like, well, wouldn't you gatekeep them if you guys were ever in power? Of course.
Right. That's why you have to win.
Well, how come you're allowed?
So you can gatekeep.
How come you're allowed to do that? Because
wait, who's gatekeeping? What are you talking about? Gatekeeping who?
So it's like, well, wouldn't you gatekeep them if you guys were ever in power?
Who does he think the left is trying to gatekeep? Right-wing extremists? Yeah, definitely. I don't think we should have right-wing extremists anywhere near government, but that's not because of like an immutable intrinsic quality about them. That's because of their ideology, because they're fucking nutcases, because they want to destroy the government, and because they want to kill people. You guys familiar with the paradox of tolerance? I know I wasn't until fairly recently, so I want to talk about the paradox of intolerance for anybody who is unfamiliar, like me, who had just heard the term maybe, but didn't know anything about it. Let's talk about it for a second. We'll come back to Joel Webbon. Here's how the paradox of intolerance goes. To maintain a tolerant society, it must be intolerant of intolerance. It's an idea by Karl Popper. It's pretty interesting. If society tolerates those who are intolerant, it risks enabling the eventual dominance of intolerance, thereby undermining the very principle of intolerance. So we should be tolerant of people. The idea is your right to swing your fist ends at the tip of my nose, right? You can swing it anywhere you want, but right here. Because then you're not exercising your rights, you're violating my rights. Tolerance. You can swing your fist anywhere you want, and I don't care. Go nuts. Swing away. I'm tolerant of that. But what I'm not tolerant of is you forcing me not to swing my fist anywhere I want except for your nose. And you can go up there and lobby for your right to control when people are allowed to swing their fists all you want. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't tolerate people regulating what other people are allowed to do with their lives. You may not like that people swing their fists around on their own property, in their own home, but it's none of your fucking business. That's the idea. If we tolerate people being intolerant of others, they take over and they start to control things. They take people's rights away.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop. owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
All right, it's Karl Popper. Here's the idea. This is a comic. The Paradox of Tolerance by philosopher Karl Popper. Should a tolerant society tolerate intolerance? No Nazis. And the Nazi says, you want more tolerance? Respect my ideas. The answer is no. It's a paradox, but unlimited tolerance can lead to the extinction of tolerance. Nazis say, when we extend tolerance to those who are openly intolerant, let's give them a chance. The tolerant ones end up being destroyed, and tolerance with them. Any movement that preaches intolerance and persecution must be outside of the law. As paradoxical as it may seem, defending tolerance requires to not tolerate the intolerant. So think of it like a social contract. We all agree on being tolerant of each other. We all agree to work together. And, someone wants to be Christian, they can go be Christian. Someone wants to be Muslim, they can go be Muslim. But the intolerant are not signing up for that social contract, so they are exempt from it. You have to sign on to the social contract to be protected by it. That's the idea. It's not a paradox when you kind of view it that way, that they have to sign on to this social contract to be protected by it. That's the paradox of intolerance. And Joel Webbon is the intolerant and wants to impose his will and ideas on everybody around him. He wants to force everybody to be Christian. He wants to force church attendance every week to his okayed list of churches. And he's saying, well, you would, gatekeep if you took power. No, I wouldn't. I am tolerant. Anybody can be involved in government except the intolerant, like you.
Wouldn't you gatekeep them if you guys were ever in power? Of course.
Right. That's why you have to win.
Well, how come you're allowed?
So you can gatekeep.
How come you're allowed to do that? Because
you're exempt from the social contract that protects you because you don't sign on to it.
Right. What is this equal standard? I don't get it. It's like we should have equal standards. Christians should tolerate wickedness.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You should stay in your own fucking life and mind your own business, actually. You shouldn't tolerate wickedness. You should leave people the fuck alone. It's none of your business, actually, is what it is.
Equal standards. Christians should tolerate wickedness equally to wicked people tolerating righteousness. Wait, what?
Hang on.
That's correct. You know why? Because I believe that you are wicked. You are the wicked one in this equation. You are saying that ICE is God's chosen avengers. That's fucking wicked. You view me as wicked. I view you as wicked. The solution is to leave each other alone. But see, he's not signing on to that agreement that I just made to leave each other alone. And that makes him exempt from it.
It doesn't need to be equal at all. Christians don't have to tolerate degeneracy, and degenerates absolutely must tolerate righteousness, or they need to go to jail or flee the country.
Right.
It's a wonderful principle.
That's us. We go to jail or flee the country in his mind. Wonderful principle. Fucking psychotic.
Principle. Perfectly biblical. No, there's nothing equal about it.
This dude is straight up evil. Seriously. Like I said, this is wickedness. If I've ever seen it. He's also a Holocaust denier. He's basically take a bad position and he holds it. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally. So it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult. And you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. Check this one out. This really lays out his positions.
Laws don't just result from the culture of a people. Laws then turn around and shape the culture of the people. Right. So there is a very real sense in which culture is downstream from worship. But part of our worship produces a legal system that then continues to disciple and radicalize people further and further. So you can take something like no-fault divorce. It didn't just capture, we have this new idea about marriage and divorce. It then turned around and discipled people about what is marriage all about? What is the nature of happiness in marriage? What is a successful marriage? Is marriage a permanent thing at all? So law has a didactic value And that's part of the top-down conversation, is that 3% gets a Dusty Devers elected, and then Dusty gets signal boosted by all the the leftists that hate him, and they end up accidentally discipling a couple thousand more people every time they do that to agree with you.
Well, the point or the idea behind exposing Dusty Devers, Joel Webbon, and people like that is that they already have a lot of influence. They already have way more influence than I could even lend them, and I'm not directing anybody to Joel Webbon. I'm not bringing anybody to believe, or certainly not in any real numbers, but I'm drawing attention to the fact that he is an evil sack of that has value.
We have to be very clear that we're not just here to write laws. We're writing laws that are orienting us to the lawgiver, but we can only rightly orient ourselves to the lawgiver, not by external law, but by the internal submission to the lawgiver and trust in him and receiving his grace, receiving the Lord Jesus, and then living our lives in accordance with him. The external law should match the internal law of the heart, so that the conscience and the law of the land are in union. They're in unity.
So he's describing how he intends to impose Christianity on everybody. He says he wants, by the way, Dusty Devers on the left is an Oklahoma State senator, if you were curious. That's who that is. And obviously agrees with Joel Webbon on just about everything. And he says, here, there's another one. This video, check this out.
So I didn't catch any of the Allie Beth Stuckey tradwife conversation because I was out legislating morality.
He's legislating morality, he says. He believes that it's a good thing to control people's actions and force them to act according to his interpretation of the Bible. This is what I'm talking about with the paradox of intolerance. This is intolerant of everybody who has a different lifestyle than him. He's trying to impose his lifestyle on everybody else. And we must be intolerant of people like that. We must exclude them from the social contract. They are not protected from it, and he has no place within public society because of the shit that he wants to push on people. His, anti-Semitic, anti-black, anti-gay, anti-everything positions are vile and evil and wrong. And I just am sick of it, honestly. These people are fucking evil and are exempt from or excluded from the social contract until they're willing to allow people to live their own fucking lives in their own way without imposing their own lives upon them. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. And also tell me what you think about Miki, this super good kitty right here.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon.
Let's talk about Joel Webbon. I don't know if you know this guy, but he's basically like, he's a very famous pastor. He's a white nationalist and a neo-Nazi. Just listen to some of the things that he said recently.
Well, who are the victims currently in our American context? Well, I'll tell you, and I won't mince words. The actual victims in our American context today are heritage Americans.
Heritage Americans. What do you think that means? He's going to tell you.
If you are a man, if you are a Christian man, if you are a non-sodomite, gay, furry man, and if you are a white man, then you are objectively on the books, be it Ivy League schools, or be it the hiring processes of Fortune 500 companies, or be it certain tax brackets, or be it just the general cultural milieu, or even among the perception of your local elders at your local church. If you are a young, white, single, straight man, you are, in the year of our Lord 2025, here in these United States, a legitimate victim.
My God, dude, like the victim complex is wild with these people. How do you think these people are victims exactly? How are these people victims? The fact is they're not. And he's using this as a method to justify victimizing others. He's using this as a method to justify his own hate and vile attitudes. And if you're not on board with that yet, just wait, I'll prove it. Listen to some of the vile, disgusting that he has to say here. Check this out.
Women are atrocious today.
He's the victim, you see.
They are immodest. They're hoes. They're dumb, like literally intellectually unintelligent. They are shallow. They are deceitful. They are wicked. They are vile.
Women, full stop. Women are vile. What was it he said? Women are hoes, are stupid, are just unintelligent. What is wrong with this person, dude?
They vote for pennies. I'm not making it up. It is a 45, objectively, 45-point difference.
What is a 45-point difference?
Between young men and young women today.
What's he talking about? Is he talking about voting? I think that's what he means. 45-point difference between who votes for Trump and who doesn't?
That's where we're at. 45-point difference. Women are radical progressives.
And that justifies the hateful garbage that comes out of his mouth about women. This is just disgusting, dude. To call women dumb like this, and trans people, constant hate, nothing but hateful, vile trash from this dude. Here's another video from him.
I'm not saying it's easy to find out the actual history, but I'm saying all these young men who red-pilled in 2020, it is fairly easy, though, for them to look at history and find out that we had 1,500 years of Christendom. And then for the last 80 years, since World War II, we allegedly won, right? And yet all of the West looks like it lost. Since then, we've murdered 70 million...
Wait, I'm sorry, wait a second. We won World War II, but it looks like we lost? What does he mean by that?
Lost. Since then, we've murdered 70 million children in the womb, just in the United States.
Yep. And this is garbage, dude. Embryos, literal single-celled organisms, are not children. I'm sorry. Aside from that, people have the right to make choices for their own bodies. Full stop. There's an interesting analogy that I heard not too long ago. Imagine somebody is breaking into your house in the middle of the night and they're taking half of your food. Are you within your rights to just lock your door at night? Even if it means that person is going to die, are you within your rights to lock the door so that they can't break in and take your food? The answer is yes, with no consequence. You are allowed to do that. That is a perfect analogy to pregnancy, especially in the earliest weeks, say 5 to 8 weeks. You can withdraw your resources and be completely within moral bounds. This abortion hate was weaponized by the far right, by Christianity primarily, over the past 50 years, since the 70s or the 80s. It really started getting bad. The right saw this issue and knew that they could get people whipped into an emotional blood frenzy over this, and they did, at any cost. Literally getting people so infuriated over this issue that is clear as day moral, unless you look at it from some warped, skewed perspective. They got them whipped into a blood frenzy so much that they'd be willing to murder people, and that is exactly what has happened. Bill O'Reilly, for example, on Fox News, I think in the 2000s, got a guy murdered, Dr. Tiller. He was a doctor that I think worked at Planned Parenthood, maybe. Walked out of his church one day to the parking lot. Somebody pulls out a gun and shoots him. He called him Tiller the baby killer. Stochastic terrorism. That's all these people understand. These people being Joel Webbon and other far-right extremist nutcases like him. But okay, he's warping this completely out of perspective intentionally. And for the record, if that doesn't grab you, how about this? Numbers 5:11-23 specifically, explicitly instructs people to get an abortion under certain circumstances. Like if your wife cheats on you, you should get an abortion. It explains how to get an abortion. To go to the priest, he'll give her this concoction called bitter water, and it will abort the baby. It will abort the pregnancy if she cheated on you. So don't tell me this is a biblical position. It's not. The Bible says you should get an abortion in some circumstances. This is an emotional position that was fabricated by Republicans to garner support for their cause. That's it.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
And we're cutting off the genitals of little kids.
Literally nobody is doing that. That is not happening. This is completely fabricated in your own head. Nobody stands for this. Nobody is doing this. Nobody wants this. And they're using it as a weapon against people again. When are people going to realize that Republicans have nothing good to offer? When are people going to realize that when Republicans run a government, they drive it straight into the fucking ground? Are they ever going to realize that? Is that ever going to connect? Republicans have been in control of the U.S. government since 2025. Now, where did that get you? Is your life materially better today than it was in 2024? The answer is no for the vast majority of people in the U.S., but they keep voting for him.
And we are flooding our nations and diluting the cultures and the heritages. And
he's saying we have people of other races, quote unquote, and that bothers him. He wants only white people in the United States. That's the complaint here.
And
with foreign immigrants
tearing down statues, and we're selling cathedrals and turning them to mosques.
So you're
literally nobody is tearing down churches and building mosques.
Telling me we won. It doesn't feel like it.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like we won.
I'm not sure what he means by that exactly, but I feel like what he means is maybe Germany should have won in World War II. Is that what he's saying? He's just an evil human being. Check these ones out, these videos from him.
We currently live at a wicked time with wicked rulers who are dominated by feminism and hate men. And so they change.
What feminists hate men? I'm sorry, I just cannot accept this. Are there some weird little nutcases out there who do? Probably. I've literally never met one in my entire fucking life. What are you smoking that you think feminists are out here talking about how they hate men and hope they die or something? You know, I'm honestly surprised that this false narrative of feminists are aborting their male pregnancies. I'm surprised that hasn't taken root. I mean, it's nonsense. That's not happening. That was never happening. But I'm surprised that these people haven't gone with that one yet, with that bullshit line.
The rule book. So what you're doing is not exercising your authority over men. But what we're doing is having to get creative with the wicked landscape, and you're ensuring that I have my full authority as a citizen, and that my authority. What the wicked rulers wanted to do is they wanted to strip away half of a man's authority, and what you're doing is you're conceding it back to me by voting in line with the decision that I make for our family. So
wow, dude. So wicked feminists stripped half of the man's authority away by allowing women to vote. This guy is about as low as they come. Check this one out.
The Christian ministers who are looking you in the eye right now and saying these disparities don't exist, every young man in the world can pick up their phone and in 15 seconds can see that the average IQ in Haiti is 67.
Right.
And any Christian minister who denies that will not have any credibility.
Right. This is the old race and IQ argument. He is a race realist, apparently. Let me let you in on a little secret. Race isn't real. It's pseudoscience. It's a pseudoscientific, nonsensical concept from the 1800s, primarily. Before that, there were people who believed that their ethnicity was superior. You know, the Greeks had words for non-Greeks. It was barbarians. So they're around. It was around for a while that there were superior groups of people, but race ideology has been around since the 1700s or so. And it was invented to justify slavery and things like that. Just superiority. It's just as pseudoscientific as, flat earth ideology. Race is not real. There are people who have genetic markers from certain ethnicities, like, I think I'm, some percent Scottish and some percent, Wales. My mom, I think her family's from Wales, and I have some Native American and things like that. Those are ethnicities that you can trace in a DNA test. But race existed before DNA tests, before DNA even existed as a concept. There is no race. It's fake. It was always fake. And it's been used throughout history to justify superiority complexes. Now, what he said here, the average IQ in Haiti is 67. Maybe, that's possible. I think the average IQ in India is 72. You know why? Because the rural areas with a lack of proper sanitation, a lack of education, of resources generally, those areas kind of they average out, they drag down the average or whatever. But if you pluck an Indian as a baby at 0 weeks old, you pluck him out of India or Haiti, and you put him in a family in a developed country with lots of resources, rich family, send them through school and everything, their IQ will be just as high as anybody else's in their community. IQ is an imperfect measurement. It's supposed to be an unbiased measurement that is independent of culture or whatever else, but it's just not. It just doesn't work that way. It's really a great measuring tool for what it's for, but he's misusing it and he's putting more weight in IQ than anybody ever should. If people have fewer resources, fewer education opportunities, their IQ just isn't going to be as high. That's just what it is. But instead of attributing it to the real problem, which is authoritarian governments, extremist groups destabilizing society in their region, a lack of resources and things like that, instead of attributing it to what it should be attributed to, those things, he's attributing it to race. This pseudoscientific bullshit idea of race that doesn't exist because he's racist. This is the definition of racist. Somebody that believes that race is real and you can measure someone's intelligence based on their race. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
They want credibility, but it is a sin to God, because
you're a liar.
Manifested reality.
You're a liar.
It's not true.
You cannot be a minister of the gospel and be a public liar.
Right.
You're disqualified from ministry, from lying. You can't be a liar and be a minister of the gospel.
He is a vile human being, dude. That's just the tip of the iceberg with Joel Webbon. I have so much stuff. Here you go. Here's one of the more psychotic ones. This guy really does not like women. I don't know what his problem is. I don't know who hurt him along the way, but he's got a serious issue with women, dude.
And if that were to occur, and the just penalties were to be enforced, you, the false accuser, is now put to death, and that's a public death. It's a public sentence, publicly carried out. Then the citizens of these United States of America, you know what they would do? Hashtag Me Too would end real fast.
So if you executed some people who had some false accusations, or that you believed had false accusations, even if they weren't actually false, or if they couldn't be fully verified because we're talking, you reported it 5 years later or something, if you execute those people, the Me Too movement won't happen. And that's his goal. He doesn't want the Me Too movement to happen, apparently. That is absolutely wild to me.
How do you false accusing? Playing the victim when you're actually not?
Yeah, that's bad. Do you know what the percentage is? Roughly, what is it? Hang on, I got to get it right. I don't want to shoot from the hip here. It's hard to know exactly for sure, but it's estimated to be between 2 and 8%. Rates can vary depending on the study, the criteria used for false in the specific context, with higher rates sometimes found in cases involving child abuse allegations or custody disputes. So the rate is roughly the same as the percentage of people who believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. It doesn't happen very often, is the point. It's very uncommon. And when it does happen, send them to jail. I'm all in. Send them to jail. Charge them. I love it. Yes, make them face accountability for that. He's talking about executing them publicly. Even people who aren't for sure filing false allegations, just can't be 100% verified. They should be executed. That's f***ing psychotic. You know what that's going to do to real victims, right? You know that's going to scare the shit out of people, and they're going to live in fear of being taken advantage of at any moment, and they're going to live in fear of reporting that. Is that the goal? I don't understand what the goal is here. What are you trying to do? The rate is so incredibly low anyway. We can deal with it without literally executing people. What is wrong with you? This guy is one of the most vile people on planet Earth. Seriously, I don't say that lightly. He is vile. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. He's just awful.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. At this immediate moment in time, the food stamp program, SNAP, has been halted by the federal government. And, I mean, by Donald Trump specifically. The USDA dispenses food stamp money to the states, and the states manage the program directly. Food stamps are an entitlement program, which means we're entitled to it because it's our fucking money. It uniquely, in a unique way that, like, income tax money is not actually our money. It's the federal government's money, right? We're paying income tax to the federal government so that they can pay FBI agents and, you know, whatever other thing the federal government does. That's not our money when it comes out of our income taxes, right? But food stamps are our money, uniquely. Comes from a trust fund. That's what it means when people say we're entitled to it. It's an entitlement. It's our money. Well, Trump decided that he just wasn't going to dispense the money. And he decided to blame Democrats for it incorrectly. It's not Democrats' fault. It's Trump's fault. Now, a judge recently determined that Trump has to disperse the funds. And I doubt that's going to happen, honestly. He's just completely ignoring the court systems. Why would he? But the reaction on the right is vile and evil and disgusting and wrong. Just listen to this woman talk about food stamps. In November of all times of year, Thanksgiving, food stamps were cut off for something like 40 million people, I think half of whom are children.
This message is for all the people that are complaining that they're not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money?
Fucking ate it, obviously. What did you think people did with it? You think people are saving it in a bank account so they can buy a fucking house? That's not how it works. I was on food stamps for years and years and years, actually. And actually, interestingly, once I finally got on my feet and got a job in the software development field, and then eventually working as a YouTuber, I paid way more in taxes back into the system than I took out through food stamps, like by a wide margin. So you may say these people are lazy or they don't have jobs or whatever other thing, but the food stamp program is actually self-sustaining. It's just like Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security. They're self-sustaining. It's a trust fund, like I said, unique in a way that income taxes aren't. It's in a completely different fund. These people need this food. These children need this food. And you're making fun of people. It's so incredibly vile, dude.
What'd you do? Did you stock up on pantry items and try to shop smartly?
Well, people do shop smart and stock up and stuff like that. But honestly, food stamp money does not go far enough a lot of the time.
Or did you just go buy a bunch of processed garbage? By the way, you can thank the Democrats for the government being shut down and your benefits not coming through for November.
No, it's Trump. It's Trump refusing to disperse the funds. And besides that, even if it was the way that she believes it is in her delusional brain, it doesn't matter because Democrats are refusing. They're not even refusing. Republicans aren't even in D.C. right now, okay? It's a temporary problem that's going to go away sometime soon, but for the record, Republicans just aren't taking calls. They're not meeting with people. They're not even in Washington, D.C. when they're supposed to be in session right now. Even if Democrats wanted to work with Republicans, they couldn't because no one is answering the phone. But Republicans right now are holding the entire government hostage and refusing to fund it unless Democrats agree to erase Obamacare subsidies, which is going to double or triple your healthcare costs. Do you know what my healthcare costs every month? $1,200 a month right now. $1,200 a month. $1,200. And if Democrats do work with Republicans to get rid of those subsidies, it's going to go up to about $3,000, $4,000 a month, probably. That is like significantly more than I even pay in rent. And I don't think that my healthcare is even doing anything for me, honestly. Certainly not $1,200 a month worth. I'd be better off putting that money in a savings account and using it to pay for hospital bills or whatever. Like, that's how worthless healthcare is in the United States right now. And Republicans are trying to destroy it even more and blaming Democrats for literally every bad thing that's going on, even though they have complete control of the House of Representatives, of the Senate, of the judiciary, and of the executive branch. Complete control, and they're blaming Democrats. This is wild, dude.
Looks like you're going to be going to the food pantry for your Thanksgiving meal. I know a lot of food pantries hand out turkeys for Thanksgiving.
And how many do you think are going to have turkeys this month, since 40 million people aren't going to have food stamps?
All the sides and trimmings, too. Lots of food pantries. You better figure it out. I'm sick of hearing you complain, honestly.
The f- you talking? Who are you listening to complain? Who's complaining to your ass?
You ever have this as a meal? I'm eating peanut butter and butter on toast. It's absolutely delicious.
That sounds disgusting.
You should try it. And not for nothing, I saw this woman that said she was getting $1,100 a month in food stamps.
That's possible if you have like 4 kids. Yeah, sure. Again, I had my own kid and myself on food stamps, and I think I got $500 a month, maybe somewhere in there. I think it averages out to like $12 a day per person or something. I'm not sure, which is not actually very much. That was $8 a day, I guess, at the time. So per person. So yeah, if she has like 3 kids plus herself, that's 4 people. $1,100 a month divided by 4 divided by 30. That we're talking $9. Yeah, that's about right, I'd say.
Do you know how long I could make $1,100 in food stamps last?
You personally? Like just you, not 3 other children or anything?
In this house. There's 2 of us, but I do have my son over every once in a while, or my daughters over once in a while to eat. I feed them too. And
I would love it if she stopped smacking her fucking lips into the microphone, bro. Please stop.
We always got food in our house, no matter what. I would take a 3rd job. I have 2 jobs. I would take a 3rd job if I had to.
And you think that this is good? Why the fuck are we living like this? We don't need to live like this as Americans. You work 40 hours a week. You should be able to pay for food and rent and a car and everything else. You know what it was like in the 50s? People could have jobs where they could work 40 hours a week and survive. Why the fuck do we need 2 fucking jobs now? You know why? I'll tell you why. Because billionaires are sucking up all of the revenue, all of the money, all the profits, and refusing to pay their employees jack shit because Republicans keep eroding unions. They keep destroying workers' rights. They have been for years. That's why. Really, I mean, think about how fucking vile this person is on screen, what she's doing right now. This is disgusting. Okay, the people in the lowest positions in their entire lives barely surviving so poorly that the government of America, of all things, believes that they need assistance. And she's mocking them, making fun of them, laughing at them by eating bread on camera while they have lost their access to food completely. That is fucking disgusting.
Just to make sure my kids ate. What are you doing for your kids besides coming on the internet and
Who is she even talking about? Who is they? Are they in the room with us right now?
You don't have any money in your food stamps account.
You know, I'll tell you how food stamps works, actually. Again, I was on food stamps for years, and I've paid that money back, like, a lot more, multiple times over. It wasn't that much money, honestly. It was like $4,000 a year or something for a few years for me and my kid. They give you a little debit card, and this debit card only works for certain specific items. Like, you can't buy alcohol with it. You can't buy, certain type. You can't buy any non-food items. You can buy some items that have food but are not like fully food based, like a toy with a piece of candy with it or something. Sometimes you can buy certain types of those toys, but it's very limited. You can't buy diapers. You can't buy, clothes that you need to clothe your children and everything. It's for a very specific, narrow set of products, food only. And these people are like in the lowest point in their lives, and she is laughing at them. It's disgusting, dude. This is pretty popular right now regarding food stamps. If you type the words "is they" on Google right now, the #1 recommended search is they cutting food stamps. Not a joke. Pray against communist riots on November 1st. That's true. And do you know why that is? Because people who are educated make more money on average, something that these people can't get a grip on. Like these conservative right-wing extremist nutcases are super, super anti-education. Talk about how it's destroying society and all this other shit. They've been saying this since forever. A lot of authoritarian regimes say this type of thing. And for the record, that was a very clear, obvious dog whistle to black people being like unintelligent or whatever. But for the record, white people account for the largest percentage of SNAP recipients at roughly 35 to 37%. They make up a plurality of the food stamp recipients. Here's another post here. I'm so anxious about this whole shutdown. We have 2 kids. One is 2, and we're waiting to get her tested for autism. She's a picky eater. Yes, we get WIC, but still, I don't know how we're going to pay rent, let alone our other bills, and get food. I'm just at my wit's end and overwhelmed. Plus, we're almost out of formula. He, her husband, asked his mother to buy a can until our WIC comes in. Her response was, "We voted for this." This is a MAGA woman who is suffering. One of those white people in that 37% who are on SNAP, presumably. WIC and SNAP are different, but, she's on government programs anyway. She voted for this. I'm sorry you're suffering, and I don't want your kids to suffer. But this is like a situation that you manufactured. You manufactured every part of it. So my sympathy is limited. My sympathy lies with people who are genuinely suffering and did nothing to deserve it. And they're suffering at your hands because of your decisions. Anyway, I remembered, this video right here that we have pulled up. I remembered this video from when Trump actually got in office. This girl was talking about her situation. Listen to this.
I voted for him for lower grocery prices. He promised me cheaper prices on groceries.
Says, I voted for him for lower grocery prices. If I knew my food stamps cash benefits would be taken, I wouldn't have made that decision. What do I do now?
And that has not happened. Not only has that not happened, I am getting my food stamps taken. I am getting my cash assistance taken.
Yeah, this is from like January. No, this is mid-April 2025 when this video came out. Trump has been kicking people off of food stamps through the big, beautiful bill and by other means since the beginning. But now everybody is kicked off of it effectively. Again, this is our money in a unique way that income tax is not our money. We are entitled to this because we pay into this. It is a trust fund.
I am getting my Section 8 taken. I am getting all my welfare governments taken. I did not ask for this.
Yes, you did. You did. As a matter of fact, you did ask for this explicitly. Donald Trump said he was going to do all this. Project 2025 had it right there as a line item, and your voted for him anyway.
I would not have voted for him if I knew this was going to happen. So what do I do now? What do the people do now?
They suffer. I'm sorry to say. They suffer. We don't have another option. We don't have another outlet because you voted for him. He is making every part of this happen because of you. Because you made the decision to destroy countless lives. Here we are. We now suffer. That's it.
The ones that regret their vote. What do we do? I can't go out and get a regular job. And it's not even about... It's not even about
ICE? Is that what she said? It is about, yeah, that's what she said. It's not even about ICE.
It's not even about, these families being separated from their loved ones. It's not about these 5- and 6-year-olds getting their families taken away from them in the middle of a school day. It's not about any of that. It's about me and my food stamps.
Wow. Why am I not surprised by that? It's not about other people's suffering. It's about my suffering.
And my cash assistance. Me. That I'm the only one that matters in this country. I'm taking my life back.
So incredibly sad and stupid. So what do? We suffer. That's it. We have no other choice. We suffer. Thank you for that decision that you made for all of us to make us suffer like that. I appreciate that very much. Very nice of you. Tell me what you think in the comments.
That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.